Hi everybody, this is Dennis from the Dennis and Andy Show, and I'm going to be doing my hashtag full review of Metalinguistic Crimes Division. Scout Comics puts this one out. This is issue number 1. I did my quick flip on it. I gotten a few messages and a couple of private ones, and looks like you guys wanted me to talk about it. So this one is written by Marcelo Sarava. And the artist is Freitas. I hope I pronounced him right. If not, forgive me. So let's just kick it off and we'll kind of dig into it a little bit. We start off right there and you can see Meta, right from the title. And then you see the steamroller and it's a cat getting wrapped around. Was it you? You see the cat, he's being turned into sausage. So he's being tortured. I actually think that's pretty funny. It reminds me a lot of like Tom and Jerry or, Looney Tunes, old cartoons and craziness. And then you can tell he's interrogating him and this girl walks in and literally it says, you think you're going to get him, to talk? Well, this is a cartoon like from Tom and Jerry. I can do whatever I want to him and he'll feel it, but I can't kill him. There's just no way. But he can feel it, and then the cat winds up confessing that he did murder him. So that's kind of interesting. It goes through and then stories. Without stories, who are we? And then we get introduced to Alan, and he's a writer and narrative coach. And he's up giving a speech. Basically, he's selling his storytelling for sales. And then he has an appointment with somebody to go in for a sales pitch. And he's talking about his book, about how great it is. And the guy's like, we're starting an imprint for detective and mystery stories. We'll republish, Conan Doyle books, so on and so forth. And he thinks he's getting an opportunity. And he goes, oh no. He goes, so the ending could change. Because he basically says, we're not going to publish you. What? He goes, I've written better my vacation essays. The shallow, bland, void of style, not to mention pretentious, my God. So pretentious. In the middle of the investigation, your detective quotes Faulkner. Effing Faulkner. Yeah, but he's a reader. Detective. Inspired by Eric Lenrot from Borges. Short story. There again. References and quotes don't make your text any better, nor do they attest to your intelligence. They just show that you're basically a butthead with a Kindle. I agreed to see you out of respect for your sister, but I'm busy now. His sister, we find out, is a great comic book writer. Tropical Force, of course, makes me think of Tropic Thunder. Maybe it was meant to, maybe not. But anyway, as soon as I read that, I started thinking about the movie. So good job if that was intentional. We get to meet her, and there's her boyfriend, and he's like, oh, come on to bed. She goes, no. I'm basically writing the next part of the script. She's there for her fans. Much like my interaction with Chris Claremont, she's there just to talk to the fans and find out what they like. So I already kind of liked her as a character. She's on the phone with her brother who says, basically, can't you pull any strings or anything like that? And she goes, look, admit it, you're just a really terrible writer. And all of a sudden, boom, there's her boyfriend. He's been decapitated. But then we see something odd. We see the cyan, yellow, magenta, black, as they even talk about in here, it's like the ink cartridges. So Alan comes and he can see that while he's sitting there trying to console his sister. And, the police are in there. And he actually goes to investigate it, and then all of the colors start coming up. The 4-color, kind of like, think of like the old Dell 4-color comics. And all of a sudden, he's like, whoa, where am I? And then there's the guy, and we know him. He was the one who was torturing the cat. He's from the crime division. And he's like, hey, what are you doing in here? Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, they wind up breaking the fourth wall. So they do a really nice job, I think, of breaking the fourth wall, talking about it. He comes out, basically says, yeah, he was inside the comic book. And he's like, whoa, who are you people? Is this for real? Like, am I in a dream kind of thing? And he takes an interest. So one thing that I'll point out, and it's one of the few negatives that I'm going to have in the book, because there's a lot of fun positives, is you can see Alan and the detective. When you do separate shots, if it wasn't for the hat, I would have a hard time telling them apart. You know, they're all dark-haired with the beard, goatee. I would like to see, you know, maybe in the next book, my suggestion, maybe just have him shave his head, lose the goatee, lose the full beard, I should say. Anyway, they look a little similar. And it can get a little confusing if you're just looking at individual panels. All right? But enough of that. They're going on, and he's like, look, he goes, no, it really happened. I was inside the comic book, you know, and he's explaining what it looks like. And he goes, hold on, am I in a comic book? And he's looking at it, and snap, snap. Real world, Alan, eyes on me. How'd you do it? What? The glow in the heads. None of the officers, any of them saw it. How did you get into the comic book? And he's like, oh, I have no idea. He goes, your sister's comics, are you acquainted with them? Well, yeah, I've read them all. Tropical Forest? Wonderful. Then you might tell me which character could be the killer. So it starts lending in a little bit of the stuff that's in there that, you know, however this works, that there is some very interesting crossover between the world that we live in and the world in the comic books. Maybe like The Matrix, or maybe this is created, by the way, great shout out. I see the Cylon head sitting there. So Battlestar Galactica callback. Love it. Love it. Yes, I'm a nerd. I fully admit it. Anyway, they sit there and they're discussing, and she goes, look, just admit it. You're an absolutely terrible writer. She's trying to get him to move on, but then they start talking about Dad and the wake. So obviously there was a funeral, and it's really cool what they do. And she does a flashback to when she's going in there. Now, I'm not going to reveal the very final page, because obviously I'm going to want you guys to go out and pick this book up. I do like this. So there's a flashback. You can see him as a kid, and they're playing hide and go seek. And the kid's like, where are you, Dad? He goes, found you. And he peels back the page, and he goes, oh, you can't hide behind the panel, which is really funny, once again, showing, because you can actually see the feet sticking out. One thing that I really do like in this book, and like I said, I'm not going to show you the final page on the reveal, because it's a pretty cool reveal, is, you know, they're treating it like a comic within a comic. I enjoyed the concept behind it. I don't want to say it's 100% unique, because there's so many different variances, but it is kind of fresh. Honestly, it really is. With all the garbage comics that, you know, Marvel and DC are putting out right now, there's not a lot of agenda. There's no garbage that's in this. This is pure fun comic book reading. It provides intrigue. So the one thing that I want to know is, I really want to know more about how this works. How is there a world within a world? What is their world building that they're doing in there? So with that being said, you know, I'm going to definitely give this book a shout out. I do a CGC rating on all my books. I am giving this an 8.0. It's again from Scout Comics. This was the only copy I could find out of all the shops here in town. So hopefully, if you guys can get your hands on one, maybe add it to your pull list to come in. I know I do have a hard time getting Scout Comics from the shops, even when they're in previews. We always don't get them in, even if we order them. So if you can get your hands on it, definitely do Metalinguistic Crimes Division. It's a great read, in my opinion. With that being said, if you guys like the reviews, do me a favor, hit the like and smash button, share it with your friends. Maybe show them this, a new type of comic book. Maybe drop some of your Marvel and DC stuff and use that money to buy this. It's a thicker book. It's $5.99, but I think it's well worth the price. And then when you're done, check out my links below, and I'll leave some a comment up above. For Kor-Drath, The Reckoning, Andy and I are putting out our comic book, and we'll leave the link so you guys can follow it to the Indiegogo sign-up page, and you can follow us for our launch. So anyway, you guys have an absolutely wonderful day. Leave your comments below. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me on this, and we will talk to you all real soon. Thanks.